Okay, so you've decided to go on vacation and you've made all your reservations, you've got your itinerary, but now it's time to decide which camera, or if you take a camera with you to record your vacation. Now, if you're like me, you probably have more than one camera already, and so you have to decide which one to take. But you may not have a camera at all, and you may be just planning to use your smartphone. But will that give you the best results? So maybe you're in the market for a new camera to start recording these life events and these vacations. So which one do you buy? Which one do you take? Well, lucky for you, I just recently went on a vacation and I took a slew of cameras to help you pin down that decision. Let's get into it. Hey there everybody, welcome back to Low Def Media. I am Mike, and today we are going to be talking about cameras, one of my favorite topics. Like I mentioned in the intro, just went on a vacation and I wanted to, for my own purposes, decide, test, try out different cameras to see which one best suited my needs and my preferences while I'm on vacation. And in that process, share that with you so that maybe you can learn a little something about, maybe your preferences and what camera you should be looking at. But hey, before we get into that, real quick, what camera am I using? Right now, this was a bit of a struggle today, and I had a plan, then that plan changed, and now I'm with plan C. But we'll get more specific about that later in the video. All right, so what cameras did I take? Well, first of all, I knew that I wanted to take some really nice portraits on the beach. I did go to Florida, so went to a beach, and I knew I wanted to take some portraits of the family, so I did take a mirrorless camera. This is my Fuji Xa5, and the reason why I took this particular camera over, let's say the Fuji that I've got back there on the shelf, or my Canon, is because this one is smaller. All right, I knew being on vacation and having to pack a lot of stuff, that size was, storage space was at a premium. So this is the smallest interchangeable lens camera that I have. And so I decided this is the one that I would take for those photos. And we'll show some pictures or some samples of those throughout the video. I also knew that I wanted to record some video, and so I took my Sony Handycam, the CX405. I took this because it's just so easy. All right, I knew that I could just open up the door, start recording. It's not always going to have the best image or the best audio, but it's always going to be dependable, very easy. You don't have to mess with any settings, so I took this one. All right, so what else did I take? I also took my Dji Osmo Pocket 1 because I wanted to get some time-lapse video, and this has a gimbal. We're probably all very familiar with the Osmo Pocket by now. It does have a gimbal, and I'll take it out of the case to show you for those of you who may not be familiar with this camera. It does have a gimbal here, and so it helps provide a very steady image. And it does have pretty decent audio, but the way that the time-lapse works is you can set different points so that it pans as it's doing the time-lapse photography or video. So I was very interested to try this out. I also took my 360 camera, which is the Insta360 1X2. The reason why I wanted to take this one is, well, for a couple reasons. One, it's waterproof. Two, I wanted to also get some time-lapse photography, and I wanted to take pictures or video while I was on the beach and get that 360 look. So as I go back and I look at these videos, I can see everything that's going on around me, and I don't have to worry about missing part of the shot. Okay, so I took that one. And then let's see. Oh, lastly, I took the Insta360 Go 2. Yeah, that's not upside down. I took this one. For those of you who aren't familiar, it's just a very small camera. and it just pops out. It's magnetic here, and you have a little lanyard you can wear, and then you have all kinds of different accessories with it. I do have an ND filter here, and so that helped because it's very sunny down in Florida. And last but not least, I did take my GoPro Hero 10 Black, also with a variable ND filter here, and this also fit on my Fuji Xa5, so that helped with those portraits on the beach. And one extra accessory, I used the Windslayer foam mic cover or wind sock, whatever you want to call this thing, to help reduce some of that wind noise on the beach. And so again, we'll play some video and you can kind of formulate your own opinions there. All right, so I don't want to draw this out because this could be a very long video. But what I'll do very quickly is go through the strengths and weaknesses of each camera, and then maybe through that process that will help you figure out which camera is probably best suited for you on your vacation and your style of capturing either video or photography. Okay, so let's start small. The Insta360 Go 2. I really like this camera. I wish that it had better resolution, but from an ease of use and being able to get shots that you wouldn't otherwise be able to get, it's just clutch. This, if you use it in the case, you can hold it like this. It also has a tripod here that pops out, so if you want to set it down and do a vlog style entry, or set it down and record you and the family doing something, works great. Also has a 1/4-20 mount here on the bottom. Let me see, can you see that? There you go. And so that makes it super easy to use. What I ended up using this for most often, I would take it out, put it on my lanyard, and then the lanyard is over there. So it just goes around your neck. It's a little disc, goes under your shirt. This is has a magnet on it, so it just sticks right here. And so what I would do, I wouldn't leave it on, but as I was out doing things, I always had a camera at hand's reach. All right, and if I wanted to go hands-free, you just tap it, it starts recording. You just tap it again, it goes off. If you want to take a picture, you double tap, it takes a picture. So I found that I use that quite often, even in the pool, because it's waterproof. I would put this on, and then I would just kind of do my normal activities. And if I saw a sunset, or if I wanted to capture a picture of my wife and I had the camera right here, where if you had an iPhone or an Android phone, you may not have that with you, even though it is water resistant, some are waterproof. Even, a GoPro, waterproof. You're not going to carry that in your pocket while you're swimming. So this became super convenient. Now, I will say that some of the images do come out pretty grainy because that's not its strong suit. It's not meant to be a really good photography camera, but video, very reliable, very dependable. Okay, so what is the next camera? Let's kind of look around. Let's go with the 1X2. The 360 camera, I will say this, I like this camera. I did not use it as much as I thought I was going to use it, simply because I didn't want to carry an extra camera around. I had the Go 2, I had my phone. Most of the time I had the GoPro on a selfie stick, and that was it. I didn't want to damage the lens because it sticks out. It's easier to damage. And I didn't get the time lapse that I wanted simply because of the way our condo was facing the beach. I would have had to stick this outside of the railing, and I really didn't feel comfortable doing that. But I did get some good images, and while I was down on the beach, I did get some good video with this. So if this were your primary camera, if you decided to go this route and this was your primary camera, you would get very good quality. This is a 5.7K image, but that's in 360 mode, and so when you chop that up, it ends up being 1080. If you take that 360 video and you say, I just want this one section of it, then that ends up being 1080. Now, if you take pictures with it, it's hit or miss. If you've got really good sun, this takes great images. But if you don't have great sun and it's kind of dim, then this gets really grainy and the image starts to degrade pretty quickly. But I tell you, I do like it, and the app makes it super easy to transfer your files and do all your editing right there on your phone. I usually take this when I go running, and so I don't have to worry if it starts to rain, or I can sweat on it. You know, if I'm holding it and I'm sweaty, it's not going to hurt it because it is waterproof. And it also has that 1/4-20 mount here at the bottom, so you can just screw on a selfie stick. So this is, for the purposes of vacation, probably one of the front runners. So you've got the Insta360 Go 2 that did a fabulous job. That was upside down. Fabulous job. Insta360 One X2. Fabulous job. All right, what else do we got? Let's get into the Dji Osmo Pocket. I had the highest hopes for this camera. No fault of its own. I didn't use it because, again, the way we were facing the sunset, I would have had to set this outside the railing on the condo. And even though I do have a mount for this, it's a cage made by Ulanzi that has all kinds of GoPro mounts like this. So it has the cleats on the sides and the back, and it has a place for your microphone. Great cage for this. I found that I didn't use this as often. As a matter of fact, I didn't use this at all, just because we were on the go most of the time, and you can see this can tend to be pretty fragile. And so just for what we were doing, our activity level, I didn't want to take this and risk breaking anything. So unfortunately, this one stayed in the case here, and I didn't use it at all. But that's not to say it's not a good camera. I just don't think it's great for travel vlogs or vacations. I think it's better used if you're very deliberate and you plan out what you're going to shoot. Very similar to how someone would shoot, let's say, a movie. If you've got an idea for how you want that to look, you can use this to maybe take those panning shots, because it does shoot 4K, it does do slow motion, and that gimbal is super smooth. So if you want to use it for something like that, maybe some B-roll for your vlog channel, great for that. But I just don't see this being my go-to when it comes to traveling, vacations, things like that. Now, this beast right here, this is probably one of the least expensive items that I took, but I found that I used it probably, I wouldn't say the most, but close to the most of any other camera. It's probably tied for second, just because it's so easy. There is the ability inside to change exposure, to change white balance, to change your shutter speed, but you can only change one of those different settings. You can't change all of them, so you don't have unrestricted access to it. If you go into manual mode, you can change one. And what I found myself doing was changing the exposure, because if you're outside and you've got this small sensor, very susceptible to light. So if you go outside, everything gets overblown really quickly. So I would take that exposure down, and that would help to get some really good video while I was outside. I tried to get some sunset photography with this, and I'll try to include that also. And I do have a video on this, and so I'll put that up here. I hope that's the right spot, so that you can go check that out, because I do really like this camera. I think this is a great addition for families going on a vacation or a trip to kind of record everything that you're doing, and that's what I did. I recorded packing, I recorded the trip, I recorded getting to the hotel, and so this is great. So those kind of shots that you really aren't concerned, you don't need them to be the greatest image ever. They don't need to be 4K, because this only shoots 1080, but you just want to get it on tape or on film or on a card. You just want to get it. That's where this comes in. Now, if you're looking for something that you really want to have details and you really want it to be rich in color, then you might go to one of these other cameras, okay? All right, so let's talk about the Fuji. Again, I mentioned this. This was the only reason why I took this, is to get some of those sunset photos, sunrise images, and the portraits on the beach. I did not take this for video. I did not take it with me everywhere I went and all the stuff I did, because again, one, it's bigger than those, and two, it's just not as rugged, and so I didn't want to risk scratching the lens or dropping it or something like that. But if you're going on vacation, you're taking the family, you definitely want to keep in mind a camera that's got very good image quality, because you're going to want to take those pictures. And while we all like using our cell phones, sometimes you just don't get the best image using a cell phone. I like being able to change the settings on this mirrorless camera so that I can get the best possible image. So something to consider. All right, looking around, that's everything on this table. The last thing I will say is the GoPro. This was the winner. This is what I ended up using most often, only because, not only, but simply because it's just so rugged and it's good. This 5 something K image video, which I usually don't use just because it's hard to process when you go back to edit it. I usually use the 4K, 30 frames a second, and I use the variable ND filter here. This is made by, let me see if I can find it. I think this is made by, I have to get my glasses. Yeah, K&F Concept. I got it off Amazon. And so this is nice because you have the ring and you can change the stops on it and go from minimum to maximum. And so I like that. And this did come in very handy while I was on the beach to reduce some of that wind noise. So between the two, I think I came away with some really good images, some great video. It's very easy to use. You just turn it on and you start recording. Also, it is waterproof, so you can take it into the ocean. Now, on my particular setup, I have this door that allows me to put a USB-C cable in there for an external microphone, or to transfer photos, or to charge it up. So I did not take it into the water, but that if you're going to the beach, you can take this into the water. That's what it's made for beach, for snow, I even took this camera to Alaska where it was easily 20 below zero. We were snowmobiling, got some great images off of that. So that would be the primary camera. Does great photography, great video, very dependable. So I would recommend the GoPro first. Then I would go with the Insta360 Go 2 because this is just so stinking easy and you can take it with you everywhere. I even would wear it into stores and restaurants. People thought it was a pacemaker, but I could just simply take it off and take a picture. And there's a couple pictures that hopefully you've seen or that will come up here shortly. Sunsets that were just me lounging in the pool, took the camera off, took a picture. All right, so this would be number two. I would definitely say if you want video specifically and you're not so concerned about photography, this is the route to go just because it's inexpensive, it's reliable, and with one SD card you can record your entire trip because the files are just so small. So this is, and it's also got a 1/4-20 mount here, so you can put it on a tripod. As a matter of fact, I bought the Namoa shooting grip for Sony cameras, and it does work with this. I'll also put a link up here to that video because I normally use that Namoa shooting grip with my Sony point and shoot. Didn't even think it would work with this because this is so much older, but sure enough, powers it on, it starts and stops recording, takes pictures, zooms in and out. Very reliable, and no battery needed for the shooting grip. Just connects by USB cord and you're ready to go. There's a little USB connector right here. It's a multi-port, and so you just plug it right in there and you are good to go. So this would be number three. Number four would be the One X2. This is a little pricier compared to the others. It's probably on par with the GoPro. But with this, the nice thing is you're not going to miss a shot because it's 360 degrees. So you don't have to worry, was that in frame, was that in frame? It records everything, great audio. It's just not going to be as crisp when you take that video and process it as with the GoPro. Oh, and one side note for the GoPro, if you're planning to take your images and put them on Instagram, Instagram does not play well with this format. And so you can't just take this, put it on your phone, and then put it up on Instagram. It will not take it. You've got to use some other editing software to change the format to either a .mov or MP4 so that it will play on Instagram. I learned that the hard way. All right, also the DJI Osmo Pocket, probably, like I said, not designed for travel, at least not for vacations. Now, if you're doing travel photography, a vlog, great for B-roll, but this wouldn't be my primary camera. One honorable mention. Now, this is an old camera, but if you're a fan of the channel, you've seen this before, and this is my Fujifilm Xp90. I love this camera. It shoots 18 megapixel. Let me just double check that. It's right here on the front. Yeah, there it is. All right, so yes, 18 megapixels. It's a 1080 camera, and it has built-in filters, filters where you can do like sepia, you can do fisheye lens, black and white, stuff like that. So it's got some of those built in. This is also waterproof, and so it's very rugged, very reliable camera. So if you're looking for something and you want to take it with the family and you don't want to worry about dropping it and breaking it, this is a great camera. Because it's older now, you can find these for probably right at that $200 mark. I love that camera. I just have other cameras that are newer that I prefer to take instead. But if you're just starting out, that Fujifilm Xp90 is excellent. Okay, so that is my synopsis of the cameras that I took with me on my vacation. Hopefully you found some value in that, and now that's kind of helped point you in the right direction for where you should go for your camera. Either you don't have one and you're looking to buy one, or maybe you have a couple like I do and you're looking for just the right one. If you got a GoPro, you cannot go wrong with a GoPro. But also, hey, don't underestimate the one in your pocket, your cell phone, because again, very reliable. I did take a lot of pictures with my cell phone, but I always had another camera with me, always. Hey everybody, I bet you thought I forgot to tell you what camera I decided to use today. Well, there it is. I decided to go with my trusty Canon T7i. Got the door open there because I'm currently processing the video. This is the external mic that I'm using. It's just a very small shotgun mic. The reason why I went with this particular camera, I thought I would do something slick, use my GoPro or use the DJI Osmo Pocket, but I just wasn't getting the image that I was hoping for, so I went with the old trusty Canon T7i. All right, well, hey, thank you so much for taking time to check out the channel and this video. If you got value out of this, do me a favor, hit that like button, give me a thumbs up, really helps out the channel. And if you're not already a subscriber and this is the kind of content that you like seeing, please become a subscriber, hit the little bell so you'll know when the next video comes out. And hey, don't be afraid to leave me a question. Let me know your thoughts on today's video, maybe cameras that you've used so we can share it with the other viewers because that engagement also really helps out the channel. So, hey, I am Mike, this is Low Def Media, and we will look forward to seeing you in the next one.